I have got to talk about this episode of Star Wars Rebels. Without question, this has been the most anticipated episode of Rebels since the beginning of Season 3, really. The Obi-Wan versus Darth Maul rematch. And for some people, they've been waiting to see this since, hell, 1999. For some of them, it is at long last here. When Darth Maul was brought back into the Star Wars canon in Clone Wars, I think a lot of folks were wondering, are these guys going to square off one more time? And thus, at the very beginning of Rebel Season 3, in the episode where Ezra and Maul looked at the holocron, and the holocron showed them the twin suns, we knew that at some point in this show, Maul and Ezra and the whole gang were going to travel to Tatooine to meet up with Obi-Wan, and we're going to get our first confrontation between the two in many, many years. And yes, that's pretty much how it happened. The episode opened up with Maul already there on Tatooine, dealing with the hot sun, looking for Kenobi, and then we go to Ezra's perspective, who takes a ship and sneaks away yet again to go figure out what the hell's going on. Of course, this is all after Ezra sees a hologram that Obi-Wan had left the Jedi, warning them to stay away from the Jedi Temple, which was, of course, during the events of the Great Jedi Purge. Nobody believes that Obi-Wan is alive, but Ezra has a strange feeling because of what he saw in the holocron that there might be more to this. His instincts are, of course, guiding him. Of course, it's the Force, really. And when he arrives on Tatooine, he and Chopper get attacked by Sand People, by Tusken Raiders. There's a throwback. So after dealing with the Tusken Raiders and a really bad sandstorm, Chopper begins to malfunction and Ezra begins to regret the decision to even come to Tatooine in the first place. So Ezra ends up passing out and waking up in the presence of Jedi Master Obi-Wan Kenobi. And I had a tremendous amount of fanboy butterflies for this scene. It's Old Man Kenobi. It's A New Hope Obi-Wan Kenobi, who is apparently not only aware of Ezra's name, but he also knows about Maul coming after him. Now, this version of Obi-Wan was voiced by veteran Star Wars voice actor Steven Stanton, not James Arnold Taylor, who voiced the character in Clone War. Because this is a different series, deeper and further along in the timeline, and it's an older Obi-Wan, Steven Stanton was chosen to voice Obi-Wan Kenobi, and boy, does he sound a lot, and I mean a lot, like the late Sir Alec Guinness, who portrayed Obi-Wan in the original Star Wars trilogy. He's got this character down perfect. The accent, the accentuation of his certain vocal tones, it's perfect. You seriously would think that Sir Alec Guinness himself had been resurrected to portray the character one more time. It's almost chilling to how good this was and how exciting it was for me as a lifelong fan of this franchise. So while Obi-Wan is explaining to Ezra Maul's intentions, speak of the devil and he shall appear, as Darth Maul pops up right then and there, seeking vengeance for what Obi-Wan did to him during the climactic fight at the end of The Phantom Menace. So Obi-Wan insists that Ezra leave because the fight is not his, so Ezra and Chopper both depart, and we are left face to face with Obi-Wan versus Darth Maul one more time. Maul quickly puts out the campfire, leaving the two warriors face to face in pitch black darkness. I love it. But then, to my surprise, well, it's not really a surprise when you think about Star Wars power scaling. I hate to use that term, but it fits here. Obi-Wan dismantles Darth Maul in seconds. Obi-Wan split the double-bladed lightsaber in like 2 seconds. This was so reminiscent of Brock Lesnar versus Bill Goldberg at Survivor Series last year. For those of you who know what I'm talking about, when Goldberg beat Lesnar in like a minute. We were expecting this long, epic war, and it was a squash, and I was shocked and amazed at this. But again, if you know how strong Obi-Wan had become throughout the years with the Force, it shouldn't surprise you. It really shouldn't. Then we have one of the most amazing scenes I can ever remember. One of the most compelling scenes in Star Wars Rebels. Darth Maul is laying there in Obi-Wan's arms, and he asks about the Chosen One. And Maul lays there and says, "He will avenge us." It's very interesting what we're talking about here, because the Chosen One is Anakin Skywalker, and obviously, as you know, by the end of Return of the Jedi, he does indeed take out the Emperor and avenges Maul for the Emperor betraying him and leaving him for dead, and avenges, of course, the Jedi and their destruction. So it's interesting, though, because it almost feels like Maul was really talking about Luke because of the whole thing with, Obi-Wan being there on Tatooine. So I found that scene really compelling and interesting, and I'm wondering if they're ever going to elaborate on this more. So apparently Darth Maul dies in Obi-Wan's arms. And I say apparently because you never know with this modern Star Wars, Disney era stuff. They could bring him back in the future. I have my doubts because I think the character has finally hit full circle. I think it all makes sense for him to die in Obi-Wan's arms on Tatooine. But again, you never know, never say never, but I do think he died here. And then Ezra returns back to the base and states that he does not believe that we will see Darth Maul ever again. And honestly, I kind of felt like Ezra's reaction was a little unrealistic in that he showed no emotion at all. Even though Maul is obviously not a good person, they still had a weird connection. And you would think that he would have sold it a bit better. But maybe they'll do that in a future episode. Maybe they're going to have an episode later on where maybe Ezra thinks and contemplates about what happened. But he reacted like he didn't care, and that's kind of weird. And the way they actually did it and seeing Darth Maul die was actually kind of a bummer. Like, it was actually kind of sad because when you follow the story of Ezra and Darth Maul, it's almost like they're trying to tell us that Ezra may have been Darth Maul's hope of redemption. Like, maybe it wasn't so much about Darth Maul turning Ezra to the darkness, more so than Ezra possibly having that reverse effect on him. But Darth Maul was so obsessed with getting his revenge on Obi-Wan that he let his anger blind him, and he was never redeemed. And it sucks because the Obi-Wan Ezra storyline is probably my favorite thing about Star Wars Rebels, probably the most interesting thing I would say, and it's come to an end right now. And even though this was probably the right way to end the story of Darth Maul's life, even though it's kind of what they already sort of did, a part of me is still kind of bummed out. And also the fanboy part of me is a little bit bummed because we never got Darth Maul versus Darth Vader, which is a fight that I was looking forward to that we never got in Star Wars Rebels. I mean, Vader would have tore him apart, but still, just that idea alone sounds cool. So to me, Darth Maul's death was very bittersweet. Then we have what really, really, really hit me. I mean, this one, I got goosebumps watching this scene. Obi-Wan rides back to the Double Sun Sunset. We see him arriving at the moisture farm of Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru Lars, and they actually took an audio sample of Aunt Beru from Star Wars A New Hope and put it in here with her going, "Luke, Luke." I couldn't believe this. Like, the smile on my face was from ear to ear. Like, this was, wow. Like, talk about a moment that I'm never going to forget in Star Wars Rebels. This was amazing. And they ended it with the binary sunset music. The famous music where Luke looks at the binary sunset from Star Wars A New Hope. They ended it with that scene and Obi-Wan stroking his beard like he did at the end of Revenge of the Sith. Amazing. Just, this is without a doubt my personal favorite episode of Rebels from day one. Obviously because I have a strong connection to Luke and Obi-Wan because those are the characters that I grew up watching more than anybody. And everything that they did here was just spot on great. I just loved this episode so very much, and I had to do a video talking about it. I haven't done Star Wars Rebels reviews in a while, but I had to talk about this episode and this fight and just everything here. Amazing. Just amazing. I want to see more. I want to see more of Obi-Wan in Rebels. I don't know if we're going to get that, but it definitely piqued my interest of seeing more Obi-Wan in this series. So let me know what you think in the comments. Did you enjoy this episode? Did you like the Easter eggs? Did you like the fight with Obi-Wan and Maul? Do you think it was too sudden? I thought it was perfect because Obi-Wan's really a lot stronger in his older age. Don't let it fool you guys. You know, just because he was slower and more cautious than A New Hope does not mean he was not more powerful. He was definitely way more powerful with the Force. And it was just amazing to watch. I want to see more. So get ready for more Star Wars content here on Geekdom 101. But tonight we got Dragon Ball Super finally coming back. I'll be doing my review on that as well as my preview for next week tomorrow. And so much more content. We got the Chapter 22 manga review coming up for Dragon Ball Super. I got another anime I'm going to check out. Like, it's packed on Geekdom 101. I thank you so very much for your continued support. It means so very much to me. And let me know in the comments what you thought about this episode. My personal favorite episode of Star Wars Rebels thus far. I cannot wait to go to Celebration and hear about Season 4. This middle of Season 3 was kind of meh, but they really have picked it up this week, and I am excited. While you wait for those videos to post, check out some of these. Talk to you guys later.